What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, it is a Khamzat Chimaev fight week, and I know he's not the main event or even the co-main event, but when Khamzat Chimaev is fighting, it has that big fight feel.
It does.
And it was almost like he teased us, right? He came out and he was fighting like every weekend. I thought he was going to fight every weekend of the calendar year, and then boom, he has a long bout with COVID, has some lingering effects, and now it almost seems like we haven't seen him in a year because we haven't seen him in a year. So I'm very excited to watch his return fight. Jingliang is a very tough, very game opponent. I'm glad Chimaev's going to try to make a run at 170 instead of trying to jump back and forth between 70 and 85. I think he could do very well there. Lee is the number 10 ranked fighter in the UFC at welterweight. However, Chimaev is a minus 450 favorite. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I'm so excited. Chimaev has quickly become one of my favorite guys to watch.
Yeah.
And it's because it's partially the brashness. You know, you don't really see a trash talker. And I don't want to call him that much of a trash talker, but he spews confidence.
Yeah.
And I for all the right reasons. I mean, when you come into the UFC the way he did, you kind of have a right to act the way he acts. And he kind of sees himself as, you know, let me get a couple more wins and I'm fighting for that title. And it's going to be easy work for me to take it from Kamaru Usman. Now, if that's true or not, I we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah.
But Chimaev, man, is absolutely must-watch TV. He's shown us that he's not just a submission guy, a Dagestani-type grappler. He's a knockout artist as well. He's scary looking. He comes in with the beard. He calls everybody brother. He puts them down quickly. And he honestly, in 3 fights, I think he's been hit twice, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
So I was super excited to see the growth of Chimaev and the progression of his career. Obviously, we had to wait a full year, and thank God he's healthy and able to fight again. I'm sure that he was bummed to not be able to stay as active as he was fighting last year, but when you have something like COVID and the lingering effects, and we've both had it, and mine was not so bad as far as the long-term effects as yours, but
My
know what
gas
it's like.
was gone for a while.
Yeah, and other people felt the same exact thing, and perfectly healthy guys, or even some of the healthiest people on the planet like Chimaev, were dealing with things that they just couldn't kick. But it seems as though he's been able to train at full intensity for the past 3 or 4 months. And that makes me feel comfortable. Makes me feel like he's a dangerous guy right now. And Jingliang's going to have his hands full, even though he is the top 10 ranked guy in the world.
Yeah, Jingliang is no easy opponent. I mean, he's the number 10 guy. He's finished Santiago Ponzinibbio, who is an absolute animal at 170. I thought at one point Ponzinibbio was going to make a run. He had some lingering health issues himself, non-COVID related. But, this is – I hope that Chimaev doesn't just come out, dust Jingliang, and people brush it off like, oh, he just beat another easy guy. Yeah. Because if you really know MMA, you know that Jingliang is as tough as they get. Yep. He does not have a 10 next to his name for no reason. The guy's very skilled. He's powerful. He's durable. He can knock you out if you make a mistake. And I think this is a perfect first opponent. If you go by the world MMA rankings, the UFC only does the top 15 for each weight class. Chimaev, because of inactivity, has fallen out of that top 15, but the world MMA rankings have him at number 21. So he's 11 positions behind Lee here. However, he's almost a minus 500 favorite. So that shows you what the odds makers think of this kid. I personally think he's one of the best fighters in the world. He just hasn't had a chance to prove it yet. Yeah. And I think that the end of this year, early next year, he's going to get exactly that opportunity. And if he knocks out Lee, look for him to be in at least the top 7, I would say.
Yeah, and look for him to probably fight in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to see is him come out and likely get a quick finish. One of the ways that he knows how to do it, either ground and pound, because Lee is pretty tough, so you kind of have to put him on the ground, hold him there, and beat him up until the ref stops you just because he's so tough. But if he comes in and starches him in the first round, watch the UFC. They're going to try to do the Khamzat Chimaev effect again, throw him right back into the mix. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw him in there quickly back at 185 if the weight cut thing is an issue. I understand that he's kind of trying to form his path at 170, but there's something really cool and unique and original about him bouncing back and forth and fighting every 10 days. And if the UFC can do that, if they can kind of catch that lightning in a bottle like they did last year and run with it, I think that they will, and I think that they should. Gimmicks like this are very rare. They don't come around that often. But when you have a guy like Chimaev and he's willing to do it and people know kind of come to expect it now, it's something that you might as well do. You exhaust it until he's fighting for titles or he's fighting in number one contender matchups and he can't jump around and he's going 3 rounds and he's going 5 rounds. So I think that I hate to not give Jingliang credit and think that he's going to go all 3 rounds or something, but Chimaev I think is just another force. He's another level, and we're going to see him quickly climb his way right into the top of the rankings. The layover that he had from COVID was just something to delay his inevitable climb to the top, and I think that now that it's started back, it's going to be a quick progression right to the top.
Yeah, and I mean he's only halfway to 30. Well, not halfway to 30, but he's on the right side of 30. I think he's 25 or 26 years old.
Ridiculous.
So I mean this little setback didn't cost him anything as far as his career goes. I think he hasn't even hit his prime yet, which is quite scary, to be honest.
Right.
I see this fight. He has a lot of tools in his toolbox.
Yeah.
We saw against Gerald Mearshart that he's got a lot of power and he can knock you out with one punch.
Right.
I don't think he can that easily knock out Li Jingliang, and Li Jingliang is very known for staying in the pocket and throwing heavy shots himself. Where I see a clear advantage here is in the grappling department. I think Khamzat Chimaev, if I had to predict how this is going to go, he's going to come out and he's going to work behind his jab until he backs Jingliang up. He's going to get a takedown off of the cage, and he's going to use that to work. I think he's going to get a takedown very early in the first round, and I think he's going to use that to work just because Lee is such a tough guy. Maybe he makes it through the first 5 minutes, but I think second round, ground and pound finish for Chimaev is going to be the prediction for me. Mm-hmm. I think that we haven't seen him in a while. He knows there's a lot of pressure on him. He knows Jingliang is powerful and can throw some strikes. I think he's going to default to what he knows can win him this fight and win it in exciting fashion, which is that ground and pound that he made famous last summer. We're going to see it resurface probably even better this time than last.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with first round finish. And I think he's going to completely disregard Li Jingliang. He's going to walk him down like he's a heavy bag, throw some shots, kind of get him in a quick firefight so he can change levels. Like we saw him in that last fight, throw a kick and then change levels and then get a successful takedown. Who throws a head kick and then goes for a takedown?
That's a strange combination, to say
insane.
the least. Yeah.
It's insane, and most people can't pull it off. I think we're going to see him go right across the cage, take Li Jingliang down, ground and pound. Li Jing's pretty tough. And I think we're going to see like a rear naked choke submission finish.
Nice,
I think he wants to show us just how versatile he is. He's going to go with knockouts. He's going to go with ground and pound. He's going to go with submissions. And we're going to see a quick rise, something really cool on the microphone. A ton of hype on is going to go to Chimaev on an already massive card. And who knows, he could be on the next pay-per-view right after this one. But I personally think watch, because the next 30 to 60 days, if Chimaev gets out of this unscathed, he'll be on a main event in a fight night, or another slot on a main event on a main card pay-per-view.
Yeah. And I can tell you for sure, he gets a knockout of Jingliang, he will be in the position that every welterweight wants to be in, which is, I guarantee you, the champion Kamaru Usman and the challenger Colby Covington will have his name on the tip of their tongue. We may even see some tweets go back and forth. And when you're a guy trying to make your way up to that belt, having the champion talk about you and call you out is something that should be coveted by all. I think Chimaev understands that. I think he understands the business aspect of this as well. He understands his marketability. And like you said, maybe he does take a fight at 185 in between. If you're doing something that's working, continue to do it until it doesn't work anymore, even though he wants to make a run at 170. And I personally think his best division for becoming and holding the belt is at 170. Yeah. I don't think that he would do bad at 185 against the top people. No. And if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as the saying goes.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in there competing at 170 exclusively. But if a Kelvin Gastelum wants to get back in there quickly, or if a Jack Hermanson says, you know what, I'd like to give this guy, show him the business, I think that a quick turnaround would be a lot of fun. I think we run with this gimmick as long as possible. But, man, Khamzat Chimaev fight week is something to be excited about.
For sure. So your final prediction,
first round.
Rear naked choke, first round.
Yep.
I got ground and pound, second round.
Good call.
Guys, let us know what your predictions are in the comments. We always love chatting with you there. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, we always appreciate if you do that. It helps us out tremendously. And you can check out all of our content on audio where you listen to podcasts. Until the next video, guys, we hope that you have a wonderful day.
Peace.